Will Jim Harbaugh finally break through and deliver Michigan's first Big Ten championship since 2004? Our look at Michigan football, schedule analysis, and record projection next on the Voice of College Football. We are talking the maize and blue right here at MarkRogersTV, the Voice of College Football. Please dive into the videos and select your favorite team and go nuts. We've delivered more than 8,000 videos total. Analysis from myself, of course, but also the best bloggers, broadcasters, and writers in the industry, and every conceivable angle that you can tear apart. Team reports, recruiting analysis, position breakdowns, predictions, game previews. We will have it all as we get you set for 2019. Right now, we are ranking the schedules. I rank the schedules each and every off season from 70 all the way up to number 1. Michigan opens with Middle Tennessee on August 31st. Then they've got what people are pegging as a possible upset bid by Army at Michigan on September 7th. It makes a whole lot of sense considering what Army did in going to Oklahoma last year and taking the Sooners to overtime, a team that eventually won the Big 12 and went to the college football playoff. So it could happen. The last time Army took on a major opponent in the Big Ten was a couple of years ago in Columbus against Ohio State. Buckeyes won that 38-7. Open date for the Wolverines, which is beneficial in preparing for a trip to Wisconsin on September 21st. Key matchup in the Big Ten against Wisconsin September 21st. And then Rutgers, which has been the site of many a massacre involving Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State in particular, taking on Rutgers. I think the average score of those teams taking on the Scarlet Knights is like 55-0, 55-3, something in that range over the past few seasons. And Michigan has the topper of them all in winning at Rutgers a few years ago, 78-0. So they've got Wisconsin and Rutgers to open Big Ten play. Then they've got a date against Iowa. And, of course, Wisconsin went to Iowa as an undefeated team in 2016, top 3 in the nation, and lost to the Hawkeyes on the road. They've got Iowa at home on October 5th before trips to Illinois, Penn State. Then they've got Notre Dame at home. So it opens a difficult 3-game stretch for Michigan football on October 19th when they go to Penn State. Of course, this has been a series that has swung back and forth. It doesn't seem as though these two teams both show up at the same time. Last year, Michigan was the much better team in Ann Arbor and just clubbed Penn State and threw Trace McSorley around like a rag doll. The year before, Saquon Barkley had his way, and Penn State rolled 42-13, and on and on and on. The year before that, when the Penn State Nittany Lions won the Big Ten championship and went to the Rose Bowl, they lost their one Big Ten game against Michigan, and they were drubbed in that game like 42-10. So Michigan at Penn State, of course, one of the major key Big Ten Eastern Division games. Notre Dame, Michigan, of course, the Irish handed Michigan its first loss before the game at Columbus last season, 24-17 in South Bend. At this time, Michigan doesn't play Notre Dame until October 26th in Ann Arbor. Key college football playoff ramification, possibly. On November 2nd, Michigan rolled Maryland last year at the Big House, but of course the Terps beat Texas, almost beat Ohio State last year. Could be a tricky spot for Michigan following dates against Penn State and Notre Dame as they go to College Park to take on Maryland November 2nd. Then the bye week, and then a difficult stretch to conclude the season. Michigan State, always a difficult out for the Wolverines. At home, November 16th, of course, one of the big rivalries in college football. At Indiana, Michigan has had trouble with the Hoosiers in recent years. That date at Bloomington, November 23rd. And then, oh yeah, there it is, the game. Ohio State at Michigan, November 30th. Will Michigan beat Ohio State for the first time since 2011? Will they beat an Ohio State team with a set head coach, meeting an interim head coach was on the sideline for the Buckeyes in 2011, Luke Fickell. So with a standing head coach in place, Ohio State has not lost to Michigan since 2003. Will Jim Harbaugh get it done? It has cost him a Big Ten championship now 3 times, or a chance in the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, losing to the Buckeyes in 2015, 16, and 18. And, of course, going 0-4 overall against Ohio State. Buckeyes, Wolverines, November 30th. So for Michigan, it's the second most difficult schedule in the Big Ten. It's number 15 in the nation. Based on this, they've got to match up with the Big Ten Eastern Division, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan State in particular. The Big Ten Western Division foes are pretty tough. At Wisconsin, Iowa, at Illinois. Worst team in the division, but Wisconsin and Iowa. And then in addition to taking on Notre Dame, which should prove to be one of the 10 or 15 best teams in the country, Michigan gets a difficult, however you want to categorize, Army. They're an independent, whether a Power 5 or a Group of 5, a team that went 11-2 and finished in the top 25 last year. Our thoughts on Michigan football is that the Wolverines go 10-2, 7-2 in conference play. Match that up with what we had to say about Ohio State's final record. And I'm sure you've got a lot of questions to ask me. So if you're not aware of what we projected, and this is not my final prediction, but my projection, my spring projection on Ohio State football, check out the video. But again, we've got Michigan going 10-2, 7-2 in the Big Ten. Would love to hear your predictions or projections, however you want to phrase it. I try to phrase it both at the same time. Your predictions or projections down in the comment section below on Michigan football. We'll be back with schedule number 14 right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.